Hey, this is Kit Cabela of Harlan's Media. We are still here at the impeachment for Trump rally. I'm here today with
Pam Johnson, RN.
All right. Pam. What brings you out here to this protest?
Well, what brings me out here is I care about this country. I'm an African American woman who was born and raised in Mississippi. Um, I marched during the civil rights when I was a young woman, way back when, and that I care about this country. We have a president who's a liar, um, who violates the Constitution's emoluments clause every single day, who's enriching himself with the presidency, who has no integrity whatsoever, who's taking away health care from people. So, yeah, that's why I'm here, because I care about this country.
Now, you are a registered nurse, and of course, Donald Trump and people within the Congress right now, specifically Republicans, are right now trying to pass Trump Care, which, according to Bernie Sanders, will be a huge tax cut for the rich. What concerns you about that? About this potential Trump Care that will get passed? Should it get passed? And what concerns you about other potential policies that Trump might pass?
Well, being a registered nurse just about 40 years, I've seen a lot of changes in the healthcare system. The one thing that's been consistent, though, is that insurance companies don't give a rat's patootie about you. That's number one. If Trump Care is passed, now they're talking about not doing repeal and replace. They're talking about doing repeal and we'll replace it later. And you know later is never going to come. And the CBO says that if they just do repeal, we're looking at 32 million uninsured. That's almost the 40 million that it was before the Affordable Care Act was passed. That is immoral, that is insane, and people ought to be up in arms about it.
All right. Now, there is some critics who stated that if Donald Trump is impeached, we will get Mike Pence, and Mike Pence has a legislative history of supporting, right-wing and conservative policies, specifically during his time as governor of Indiana. Does that concern you that should Trump get replaced or impeached, Mike Pence might enact more harsher policies?
Well, here's the thing with that argument, and I've heard that argument. And to that I answer, we can fight Mike Pence on ideology, and we're already winning the Trump care fight, okay? So we can fight him on ideology. They fought him on the whole, businesses can discriminate against LGBT people in Indiana, and they won that fight. It takes citizen involvement. And as I said to the other gentleman, there was almost a year and a half between the time of the Watergate break-in and when Nixon actually resigned to avoid impeachment. There was 14 years between when Emmett Till died and the Civil Rights Act was passed. So for everybody who wants it instantaneous, and I know we live in the age of Instagram and Twitter, and nobody stands in line for nothing, but this takes work. Frederick Douglass said it. Power concedes nothing without a struggle. We can fight Pence on ideology. How do you fight crazy? Trump is crazy. People in positions can't say it. I'm a nurse. The man is psychologically imbalanced. I've taken care of enough psychologically imbalanced folk to know it when I see it. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If you acting crazy and talking crazy, then you crazy. But you're crazy like a fox, because you're appealing to your 38% core supporters. That means that 60-some other over two-thirds of people don't agree with you. And those are the people who we need to be reaching. Any Democrats listening, those are the people we need to be reaching. You're not going to reach anybody more people in Kentucky. That they interviewed a man who had the oxygen in his nose, dragging his oxygen tank with black lung disease, which Obamacare, ACA has coverage for. You could lose that. And they told him that. And he says, well, I hope it doesn't happen, but I still support the president. So how do you reason with someone like that? You don't. You don't.
So, final question then. It's going to take some time to get the work to impeach Trump, if it's going to happen. What are your hopes for the 2018 midterm election cycle?
That the Democrats will take over Congress, because that's when the impeachment will start in earnest. But understand this. I was in my 20s during the Watergate era, okay? It was citizen involvement. It was marches like these that started small like these and that mushroomed all over the country, that forced, don't forget too, that the Congress was democratically controlled and he was a Republican president. And still, it took citizen involvement. It took marching in the streets. It took calling and writing and all of that in order to push that Congress towards it and to push Republicans to vote for impeaching their president. And when Barry Goldwater and the other senator, I can't remember his name, went to Nixon and said, boy, they got the votes to impeach you. Now, you want to be the second president to ever be impeached after Andy Johnson, or you want to resign? We'll pardon your ass. Sorry.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
And that's what he did. But that wouldn't have happened without citizen involvement. You got to be persistent. You got to keep at it. If you need to take a break, take a break. But you got to be persistent and consistent, and it will happen. And I'm going to say one other thing, and I apologize to the atheists that may be listening, but the God I serve is a just God. He's a just God. And you may not get the justice when you want it, at the time you want it, but he's just, and there will be justice. This man will be gone. I don't know when, but it'll be gone. It's going to take citizen action to do it.
That's a good note to end it on. This is Kid of Hard Lens Media. Peace, everyone.